Hey guys, welcome to another episode. So today we are making bone broth. Yes, bone broth. If you have been to like a gourmet store or maybe even a nice restaurant in the past few years, you have seen bone broth. And you might be thinking, wow, that's something really special. Well, actually, not really. It is special, but it's not all that fancy. So bone broth is basically broth made from the bones of an animal. So you can have beef bone broth, you can have chicken bone broth like what we're making today. But bone broth is basically taking bones and a few aromatics like carrots and celery, what we'll be using today, and basically just simmering that until it extracts all the flavor and all the nutrients of those ingredients. Now, bone broth sounds fancy and it can cost like stupid amounts of money. I think I was at a gourmet store and I saw a bottle of bone broth and they wanted like 10 bucks for it. Don't do that. I'm gonna show you how to make it super easy and for a lot less money. Now, broth is actually really important. In fact, in culinary school, it is the first thing you learn how to make. Broth and stock, it is that important. And it's important because it is the foundation for a lot of recipes. It's the foundation for soup. It's the foundation for all your a lot of different sauces. And the reason why is because broth and stock are liquids, obviously. And they have a lot more flavor and nutrients than water, what a lot of people would otherwise use. So broths are really important because they act as the foundation for a lot of different ingredients. Now, they can take a long time to cook. When I was in culinary school, literally we spent like 8 hours one day making this incredible beef bone broth. We roasted the bones, we did all this stuff. We don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. You don't have time for that. So I'm going to show you how to make it in an Instant Pot. And it is the easiest thing. Now, before we get cooking, I want to clear up something really quick. The difference between broth and stock. I'm going to use those interchangeably, and for the most part, people do. But technically, a stock is made from bones and a broth is made from meat and maybe a combination of bones. So just to clarify that if you're wondering. Let's talk real quick about the bone broth we'll be making. 3 ingredients, that's it. We are going to use bones from a roasted chicken. This guy right here that I got at my neighborhood market. This is a rotisserie chicken, we'll talk more about that. And then carrots, some celery. That's it. We're gonna dump that in the Instant Pot with some water and let it do its thing, and we are going to get this amazing broth. So what to do with the broth when you're done with it? What I like to do is use it for other recipes, like make rice with it, make soup with it. You could even pour it over your dog's kibble so that it's kind of moisture. And it's all about nutrition and flavor. Because what happens when you make broth is it takes all the flavor and all the nutrients from those ingredients and it infuses them, and it's delicious. So I made this last week as a trial run, and it was so good that basically I just made soup out of it and we were eating it. Then I also made some rice as well. And the beauty about that is that instead of using water, which has no flavor, no real nutrients, you're using another type of liquid and infusing all that flavor. So there you go, that's the backstory. Here's how to make chicken bone broth in your Instant Pot. So here it is, the 3 ingredients we're going to be using. I love getting these rotisserie chickens at stores. They are cheap. I think I got this for like $7 at Smart and Final. It's beautiful. It smells delicious. So what we're going to do is obviously take the meat off of this, get a few meals out of it, and then we've also got 2 carrots and 2 celeries. Sorry about the sun, guys. I live in Southern California, and we're kind of getting some moody weather today. It's sunny right now. I think it's gonna rain tomorrow. Ooh, that soup is going to be great if it rains tomorrow. So anyways, sorry about the light, but yeah, so these 3 ingredients, and then of course some water. We will put it all in our Instant Pot. We'll set the Instant Pot, and that's it. It couldn't be easier. But the beautiful thing about this recipe is that you get a rotisserie chicken out of it. You know, you buy it at your store, and then you get to use that meat. So right now I'm going to take off the meat of the chicken, and this is a great way to get even more out of that carcass. So next time you buy a rotisserie chicken, this is what I want you to do with it, okay? So take the meat off, save the carcass, make chicken bone broth. It's gonna be amazing. For now, I'm going to remove the meat and make a chicken sandwich. So I'm just removing the meat here, and yeah, you know, don't be afraid to get your fingers dirty. It's gonna happen. And I'm just basically removing the skin and the meat from the bones, and I'm putting the skin and the meat on one plate and the bones in another. You can also use a carving knife. That's going to help too, to kind of just get this off, but it's easiest just to really kind of tear it off. So this chicken is still nice and warm. Oh my gosh, it smells delicious. Tastes delicious too. I might have just snuck a bite there. Mind the string, okay? You don't want that. Just toss that. They do that twine to kind of keep it together when it's roasting, but you don't want that. So, and even these, you know, these smaller bones, you want all the bones. So just kind of get all those. I like to, if you can, kind of split the breast here so that you get some nice carved chicken breast. This is usually the most expensive part of the chicken. See that nice, beautiful breast? That is just some great meat. You can just kind of slice it or peel it however you want. But you got this wonderful, wonderful meat here. Yeah. Nice tenderloin there too. The filet mignon of chicken right here is the tenderloin. So this is what we got out of that rotisserie chicken. We have got a plate full of meat. Oh, that's going to be wonderful for, like I say, a sandwich, tacos, whatever you want. But for our purposes here, we've got all these bones, and you notice that I left quite a bit of meat on, and I did that intentionally, because again, that meat, just like those bones, is going to add even more flavor. Now you might be thinking, could I, buy a raw chicken and roast it myself, or use chicken parts for this if you have like leftover chicken legs or something like that? Of course you can. You can definitely do that. No worries. I'm doing this because it's just easy, and a lot of us just don't have a whole lot of time. And if you've already got an Instant Pot, then you're probably into saving time when you're cooking. So this is a great way of making bone broth in an Instant Pot. This is just another hack to that. So, but yeah, if you're wondering about having bones or roasting your own chicken, absolutely you can do that. Okay, so we've got our bones, and now let's look at the other 2 ingredients we're just gonna be using. Are 2 carrots and 2 pieces of celery. And with this recipe, we really don't have to do much except cut them up. You can peel the carrots if you want to. I don't even do that. I just give them a wash. I scrub them, make sure there's no dirt or anything on it. Cut them up into large pieces. We're going to dump everything into the Instant Pot and let this thing rip. And I should just note, guys, this isn't like sponsored by Instant Pot or anything like that. This is not promoted. I just, like you, if you've got one of these things, you kind of know they're really awesome. So I use it for a lot of my recipes and a lot of the recipes I make for homemade dog food. So just, full disclosure there. And again, you don't have to worry about the cut sizes. I mean, you could probably throw this in whole if you wanted to, but I do like to at least cut these into pieces, because that just means more surface area and more flavor and nutrient extraction. But again, don't worry about fine cuts or anything like that. This is also a really good use for vegetables that may be a little past their prime or aren't that pretty. I mean, no offense to the carrot, but this isn't a really pretty carrot. So this is a great use for those vegetables that maybe aren't the best looking in your fridge. Okay, so we've got our 2 carrots and our 2 pieces of celery chopped up and put in the Instant Pot. Here is the remnants of our carcass, or our carcass I should say. We're just going to kind of dump this in. There we go. And if you want, you can kind of squish it down, but it really doesn't matter. Okay, now all we have to do is fill this with water and let it rip in the Instant Pot. What I'm going to do is just kind of cover it with water. That should be enough. This isn't, don't worry about being precise here. We just kind of want everything covered with water. Okay, so everything is in the Instant Pots. It's pretty much covered with water. Yeah, just kind of make sure everything's covered. Here's all we have to do. Put on the lid. And then just hit the soup button. That's it. That's all you have to do. So we are going to let the Instant Pot do its thing. This takes about 2 hours. There's the Instant Pot doing its thing. This takes about 2 hours, but as you know, you don't have to stir, you don't have to check, just kind of let it rock. I'm going to meet you back here in 2 hours. I'll show you what to do with that broth, but for now, I have a chicken sandwich to get to. This cooked even faster than I thought it would. It's actually been just about an hour and a half total. The pin has dropped. We use the natural pressure release for this, and that means that our chicken bone broth is done. So let's take off the lid and see the results. Wow. Oh my gosh, guys, if you could just smell this. This is incredible. So as you can see, everything is cooked nicely, and we've got this beautiful unctuous broth. So here's what to do now. So now that our broth is done, what we're going to do is we are going to just strain it. And for that, I'm using just a simple, this is actually a rice colander, but any sort of colander you have is going to work out well. So what I'm doing is I've got this colander, and I have placed it just over a big bowl here. And what I'm going to do is dump the contents of the Instant Pot into this, and that is going to strain up the chicken carcass and the vegetables. And what we'll have left is just that beautiful broth. Now, in case you're wondering what to do with the leftovers, the extra bones and stuff, you can just toss those. In classic French cooking, technically there actually is another stock you can make from that, but I usually don't bother with that. I think one is good enough. Okay, so we're just going to take this and we are just going to dump this right in here. Look at that beautiful, beautiful broth color. This is just delicious. I might even get lucky here and not even have to strain all that much, because most of that is coming off. Set this aside, and what we'll do is just kind of lift. And you know, these pieces, like that piece of chicken, I'll probably still give that to my dogs. There's not going to be a whole lot of flavor in it because that has been extracted, but whatever's left, you know, that'll be fine for the dogs. But guys, look at this. So here's the result. We have just this beautiful, beautiful broth here. The color of that is just great, and it looks like that because we used actually a roasted chicken. You get that nice, even deeper color broth. And in case you're wondering, yeah, absolutely, you can feel free to take a bite of this It's gonna be hot, of course, but oh my gosh, that is so good. That is gonna make amazing chicken soup. That's the basis right there. So that is how you make bone broth in your Instant Pot. And from here, if you don't slurp it all up in your own soup, what I'll do with this is I will use it in other variants of my homemade dog food. So again, I'll make rice with it, maybe barley, even just kind of pour some over my dog's food to give it more moisture. It just added flavor. There's a lot of different uses, but now that you know how to make your own broth, that opens up a wealth of different opportunities for you to experiment with. Maybe your dogs will just kind of slurp it up as is. So I would recommend when you're using it, if you're serving it over food, just kind of heat it up to lukewarm. And then of course, if you're using it in place of water, you can just add it as such. So be sure to refrigerate this. It can refrigerate pretty safely for up to about a week, or you can freeze it. And one hack that you may have heard about is you actually fill up an ice cube tray with this, and then freeze it. And that way you always have little cubes of stock that you can use. So that's kind of one hack for this. But that is how to make chicken bone broth in your Instant Pot. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, please subscribe. And if there's something you want to learn how to cook or you have a question about, just put that in the comments below. So thanks, and we will see you next time.